Exactly 8 years ago, I moved from the UK to Japan and began a daily routine of studying Japanese as much as possible. I used textbooks, language learning apps, and attended language exchange events. Over the past 8 years, I've basically tried every learning method. The one thing that has worked best for me is finding a great teacher to guide and motivate me. Today, I am partnering with Lingoda, the amazing online language school, to help you find the perfect teacher, classes, or courses. Lingoda has thousands of highly qualified native-level English teachers, with a variety of classes at different English levels, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your Lingoda teachers will give you personalized feedback, help you stay motivated, and celebrate your successes. If you are looking for an excellent English class, I really recommend checking out Lingoda. Lingoda offers different learning plans, including Lingoda Flex, a 24/7 flexible course to fit into your busy lifestyle. Lingoda Teams for people who want more regular learning environments. And Lingoda Sprint, a challenge where you take classes daily or every other day and earn 50% of your cash back if you complete it. If you use my code 2024thinking, you will save €20 on any language learning class. And you can get up to 20 free classes when you sign up to Lingoda Language Flex. Use the code 2024thinking or click the link in the description of this podcast to find your perfect learning environment. Hello, I'm Tom Wilkinson and welcome to Thinking in English, a podcast for intermediate to advanced level English learners. If you had the opportunity to change your career right now, what would you do? If you had the qualifications or skills, which job would you be interested in trying out? If you were financially stable, would you start your own business? Today I want to talk about the possibility of changing careers and talk about these kinds of hypothetical situations. At the same time, let's practice or even learn how to use the second conditional grammar in a real-life situation. Here is today's grammar lesson. The second conditional. Before we talk about hypothetically changing jobs in the future, let's refresh our minds on the grammar we need for this topic. The second conditional is used to talk about unreal or unlikely situations in the present or future. We use it to express hypothetical situations and their possible outcomes. A hypothetical situation is one that is imagined or supposed, not necessarily real or true. It's like creating a what-if scenario where you consider something that could happen, but maybe hasn't actually happened yet, or might never happen at all. Earlier today, I was talking to my mum about what she would do if she won the British lottery. This is a very unlikely situation, and we were imagining what we would do in this hypothetical scenario. Here's how we form the second conditional. First, we start with the if clause, otherwise known as the conditional clause. This part of the sentence expresses the condition. It typically starts with if, followed by a simple past verb tense. For example, if I won the lottery. Next is the result clause, or the main clause. This part of the sentence expresses the hypothetical result of the condition. We use the modal verb would, followed by the base form of a verb. For example, I would buy a new car. When we combine the if clause and the result clause, we get the second conditional. If I won the lottery, I would buy a new car. Here are some more examples. If I won the lottery, I would travel around the world. In this example, winning the lottery is an unlikely event in the present or future, and I am imagining what I would do if it were to happen. If she studied harder, she would pass the exam. Here, I am suggesting that if she studied more diligently, which she currently isn't doing, she would have a better chance of passing the exam. If it rained tomorrow, we would stay at home. This sentence suggests that I don't expect it to rain tomorrow, but if it did, my plan would be to stay at home. If I were you, I would apologize. This sentence uses were instead of was because it's a common structure in English to use were with I and you in the second conditional, regardless of whether the situation is likely or not. Remember, the second conditional is used for situations that are not true or likely to happen in the present or future. It's a way of talking about hypothetical or imaginary situations and their possible outcomes. I'm sure we have all dreamed of a career change at some point. I love making podcasts and running Thinking in English, but sometimes I think if I had the opportunity, maybe I would look for a more stable job. I love being a podcaster, but sometimes I wish I had a stable salary and colleagues rather than being self-employed. There are many reasons why you might dream of changing careers. You might be looking for a more fulfilling job, a better work-life balance, or simply a change of pace. Let's explore this topic in more detail using our new knowledge of the second conditional. A friend sent me a message last week. They were congratulating me on the success of Thinking in English, and they said the following sentence: "If I had the opportunity to make my passion my career, I would quit my current job without hesitation." Some of you probably feel the same as my friend. For many people, the desire to pursue their passion is the reason behind considering a career change. Your passion could be writing, photography, cooking, or any other creative pursuit. Imagining a career centered around something you love doing is incredibly tempting. This was the situation I found myself in 2 years ago. I had the opportunity to make my passion, podcasting, my career, and I'd still make the same choice. If I was presented with the opportunity to pursue my passion full-time again, I would not hesitate to leave my previous jobs. There are obstacles that can stand in the way of changing careers. 2 big ones I can think of are qualifications and finances. Is there a career out there that you are interested in but can never do because you don't have the qualifications? And if you had those qualifications, would you apply for that job? I used to think about becoming a doctor, but that would take at least 10 years of training. I would be nearly 40 by the time I achieved that goal. If I possessed the required skills and degrees already, I would probably submit my application to be a doctor today. How about you? There are many other careers that require qualifications and specific skills. Being a doctor, a vet, an engineer, being a scientist, an astronaut, or a pilot. All of these require a lot of training and qualifications. If you already had the skills and qualifications necessary, would you consider changing to one of these jobs? Starting a business is also a common goal. However, it can be financially risky. When I started Thinking in English, I was working 7 days a week, 5 days teaching English online and 4 days doing closing shifts at the local supermarket. I had to do these part-time jobs as the podcast could not make any money. Would you be willing to take such a financial risk if you had the chance to start your own business? I think a really relevant subject for many of you listening is language skills. I'm sure that if you were all fluent and confident in your English skills, you would explore careers using English or in English language companies or even opportunities abroad. I'm the same, to be honest. If I were more fluent in Japanese, I would try to find a part-time job or part-time position here as a researcher in a political think tank or as a writer for a Japanese newspaper. Changing careers is always difficult, but it is so much more challenging if you don't have the support of your friends and family. I was lucky. My wife and parents both really supported and helped me when I went full-time as a podcaster. If people had supportive families and groups of friends who believed in their abilities, I think they would feel more confident in taking on a new career. Here is today's final thought. Now you've listened to this episode and grammar lesson, let's practice your English. If you had the opportunity to change jobs today, what would you do? If you won the lottery, what would you buy? If you worked hard, what would you achieve? Thank you everyone for listening to this pilot episode of the new series or new podcast aiming at introducing grammar to a wider audience. What do you think? I would love to hear your thoughts, feedback and suggestions for this future series. Do you think this is a useful style of episode? Normal Thinking in English episodes are aimed at introducing vocabulary. I thought in this new series I would look at grammar and try and use the grammar as much as possible in the episode to show you how it is used in real life. Let me know what you think, send me a message, and thank you all so much for helping and supporting Thinking in English.